What's up guys, Duarte here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we are going to take a look at Omega Red, his kit, his stats, how he's going to work, have an idea on how possibly he's going to work and what kind of cool stuff he can do. So Omega Red is Villain, Global, Mutant, Controller and Weapon X, and Legendary of course. Now, we had an assumption that he was going also to be tech because of the tentacles and so on, but they didn't went that way, which is very unfortunate, as he would be quite great for the tech team for the Doom raids. Even that some of his kit overlaps a little bit with Dr. Octopus kit, so yeah, there's that. Okay, so let's take a look at his basic, and his basic is a little bit misleading on how good it is. It's good, but a little bit misleading. So we have attack primary target for 320% damage, that's good, but not piercing. Then we have steal 10% health of the primary target and redistribute to self. He only gives health to himself, he doesn't give health to other people. Some people are thinking this, it's not the case. It bypasses heal block, of course. And then increases the duration of bleed, slow and offense down on the primary target by 1. Now, according to the developer, all these effects activate with the ISO 8, and the best one, of course, is going to be the health steal. That's the best part. Now, one misconception people have about this type of effects on ISO 8, when you increase the duration by 1, it actually does not increase the damage of the bleed. And this is the difference between having one bleed 3 times in one place or having multiple bleeds. It's better, you do more damage by having multiple bleeds than having one bleed 5 times. Some people don't know this, but it's very important to know, and it's a big difference, especially if you are doing the bio nodes on the Doom raid. This is something that you really need to learn. Then applying the slow and offense down, that's always good, especially the offense down and slow, because it gives you turn advantage. But yeah, this guy as a striker is going to be quite decent if you can indeed steal 10% health with the ISO attack. Now in his kit we'll see in the future that he can also give crit to himself and to the team, so there is a possibility that Raider is another option, so you have to pay attention if he has enough amount of multiple target abilities, and if it's going to be worth it. Otherwise, if it's only single target damage, is not going to be the case. For the basic, Raider is not a good option, so let's see the other abilities and let's see the amount of energy they require. That's also important when you are considering Raider. Okay, so special Coil Crush costs 3 energy, comes full. This is the ability you want to do first. Apply Trauma and Ability Block to the primary target. So what is Trauma? Trauma is the opposite of Safeguard. Negative effects cannot be cleared or flipped. This effect cannot be copied or spread. So it's similar to Stun, as it cannot be spreaded and cannot be copied. So Hela and Deathpool, Venom, they will not be able to spread this. But it's quite nice that you cannot flip these negative effects into positives like you can do with the Scientist Supreme, or clear them away with the Iron Fist or Jackie Chan. Okay, so let's continue with his special. So it costs 3 energy, applies Trauma and Ability Block to the primary target, very important, but only 1 turn. Then attacks the primary target and adjacent targets for 450% damage. That's a nice multiplier, and here we see that we can attack up to 3 targets, so that makes the relevance of Raider a little bit higher. But once again, Striker is probably going to be the best option. So on top of the 450% multiplier, he steals 5% of each target's health and redistributes to himself. He steals the health from 1 up to 6 targets and gives it all to himself, bypasses heal block. Apply offense down to the primary target and adjacent targets, that's very good. Once again, only for 1 turn. Apply speed up for self and Weapon X allies. Now this is going to be interesting on the turn order, if it works exactly like this or not. As it is, it's decent, and like this you will get his second turn way faster, where he will be able to do his ultimate. Okay, so now we have the ultimate Tentacle Onslaught. It comes with 3 energy out of 5, so you'll not be able to do this ability turn 1, you'll be able to do on the second turn. But because of the speed up, it will be like you have a 50% turn meter, so you'll do it quite fast. So, flip all positive effects into negative effects for all enemies. So it's similar to the Doctor Strange special or ultimate, and also Dr. Octopus ultimate. Finally, someone who's not a doctor who is also able to do this, flipping all positive effects into negative effects. Attack the primary target for 430% damage. Once again, nice multiplier, but not super crazy. Apply ability block, slow and heal block for that target. Reduce the speed bar by 10%. So, as you can see, nice effects once again, but only one turn. This is something that we have to keep in mind. Attack all other enemies for 430% damage, so the same multiplier, once again not piercing. Apply slow heal block and turn rewind for 10% once again. Quite powerful, so once again there is a high, not amazing value, but high to decent value for Raider, for this guy. So it might be the case that you might want to use Raider for Alliance Wars and then use Striker for raids and things like this. Then we have a steal 10% of health from all enemies and redistribute to self. This bypasses heal block. So this is going to be very important for raids and early Alliance Wars, and also Dark Dimension, where the enemies have tons and tons of HP. This attack redistributes 50% of this character's max health. Redistributes to self, only gives health to self, it doesn't give to the entire team. I have seen a few people making a wrong assumption of this. It's only to self, so he can heal up to 50% of himself, which is pretty decent, and we'll take a look at the stats of this guy soon, and you'll see that it's quite amazing actually. In war, this applies trauma to all enemies. So all these negative effects that we are applying, heal block and slow, and also ability block, they will stick and they will stay there for at least a few turns, not super long, and this is why it's also very important to think about this. So when you are facing Heroes for Hire or something like this, if they go below 50% HP, they will have the heal block, the slow and the trauma, and because of this, my assumption is that they will not be able to heal up to the max. I still think that they will not die right away because they still have the charges, but this is something that right now we don't know. It's something we can speculate about, but if that would be the case, then the fight would be very easy. It's like being able to get rid of the Heroes for Hire and they are not able to revive, like when you kill them with a Black Bolt or something like this. So now let's take a look at the passive. The passive also quite amazing, and as you can see, tons of things. Death Factor. On spawn, apply defense up for himself and the Weapon X allies. Now, it does not say in Alliance Wars, so this is quite amazing. It will make a great team for Blitz, and maybe some of these Weapon X allies will be good for raiding and Dark Dimension and so on, like we used in the past. Sabretooth, because he was cheap, but now he might be good to use there. So this is something that you have to take into consideration. 2 turns of defense up is no joke. On turn, heal himself for 20% of this character's max health. So this is the maximum health that we have right now in terms of healing. The maximum before was 15, now it's 20, quite amazing. And then he gains 10% max damage, up to a maximum of 30. So similar to Silver Surfer, but Silver Surfer gets speed, this guy is going to get base damage, and when we'll take a look at the stats, we'll see that it's quite insane. When this character drops below 60% health, gain speed up and 2 death proof. This is not super crazy, but I guess the point is that you'll be able to use the special and the ultimate once again, and through isolate and the other abilities you'll be able to recover his health. Otherwise this ability doesn't make too much sense, and if you have him together with characters that benefit out of having death proof like Falavel, it could be something interesting. Even that there is no direct synergy for this, I'm just saying that it's something. Gain 50% max health, we'll take a look at that, which is quite impressive. While any enemy has immunity, all Weapon X allies have 40% crit chance. And this is once again why we were talking about Raider. With Sabretooth and with Wolverine on their old kits, there were some benefits of having the Raider isolate for extra crit and for extra crit damage. So this is something that we might see more consolidated in the future because of this passive, but as it says, it's as long as the enemies have immunity, so it might be a benefit that does not last long. On spawn, if this character has 3 or more Weapon X allies, lower the enemy's damage by 15%. That's decent, but it forces to have a lot of characters, which might not be great, and it might say that one of these other characters, of the other Weapon X characters, might be hard to obtain. Maybe Lady Deathstrike will be hard to obtain, maybe Silver Samurai. In Alliance Wars, fill the speed bar of this character by 15% plus 15% for each Weapon X ally. So he will have 75% turn meter right away, which is great. We don't know his speed yet, but it's something that just by this alone he will start first. On Alliance Wars, on spawn, if this character has 4 or more Weapon X allies, so the entire team, apply Trauma and heal block to all enemies. So this is good because we have no way of extending these negative effects without characters like Dr. Octopus. I think Dr. Octopus will be able to extend Trauma, but as we see right now, we have 2 chances of applying Trauma and heal block to the enemies. This will greatly counter Heroes for Hire. It's not a 100% thing, but it's quite good. We'll have 2 chances of doing this throughout the fight, and then another one in case the fight lasts long. In Alliance Wars, on spawn, steal 15% of the enemies' max health and redistribute to self and Weapon X allies. Now this gives some value to the team on defense, but it doesn't give a huge amount of value. Most of the characters have some kind of self-healing. Even Lady Deathstrike should have also some kind of self-healing. So this is not super crazy, and if you are using this team on offense, it's quite irrelevant. Then again, in Alliance Wars, we get 200% more focus for this character to make sure that the Trauma and the heal block and ability blocks work, because they can be resisted. So it's not like Safeguard. Safeguard is for sure, but this one can be resisted. I'm actually not sure if Safeguard can be for sure if the character has Disrupt, but very likely. Then in Alliance Wars, Weapon X allies get 50% max health, so they will not get these benefits on raids and Dark Dimension, which is a shame. And Weapon X allies also get 15% more damage. So as you can see, this guy is quite insane, and we already went how to unlock him. Quite insane, very strong character, and a lot of flexibility. As I mentioned before, there are some synergies with Phyla-Vell or Dr. Octopus or a few other characters that make this guy even better, and you could use him even on defense with a mix of Marauders and make some super crazy team that would make him insane. Now let's take a look at his stats, which are impressive as well. So here we see the model, quite amazing, and the stats that we are going to take a look at is at 7 yellow stars, 4 red stars, so keep that in mind. Okay, so here we are taking a look at 7 yellow stars, 4 red stars. He has almost 700,000 health. Quite insane. I think it's going to be the biggest health in the game. It's quite amazing. Then in terms of damage, but this is with the striker iso, so it's inflated a little bit. It's 29,000, which is very good. Then 20,000 armor, very good as well. You have to remember that he gives defense up to himself and also offense down to the enemies, so that's going to be quite massive. 11,000 resistance, that's pretty decent, especially once again 7 yellow, 4 red, and then the focus at 13,500, 4 yellow, 4 red, 7 yellow. Very good stats, quite amazing. So he's going to excel in all game modes. Okay, so what else? Let's compare him to Dagger, which was a character that was just released. So I equalized the iso, so in terms of health she has 450,000, pretty good, but once again he has almost 700,000. In terms of damage she has 2,000 more, pretty decent, but he has double of the armor and a little bit more focus, so 10 or 20% more focus. Very good in terms of stats. Now let's compare him to the most recent legendary that we had available in the game, Adam Warlock. So once again 7 yellow, 4 red, and iso striker at level 5. So we have 600,000 health. Omega Red has 100,000 health more. Omega Red has 2,000 damage more than Adam Warlock, and in terms of armor, Adam Warlock has more armor than Omega Red, but once again Omega Red applies offense down and defense up to himself and the enemies respectively. Now we just have to figure out the speed of this guy. I expect the speed to be also around 120, and yeah, this guy is definitely going to be a crazy machine. I really like the artwork, and I like the modifications they made. Looks a little bit too much like Scorpion in terms of the spikes, but I don't think that's a huge deal, and I'm quite excited to get my hands on with this guy. I'm just a little bit sad that he's not a global, that is not mutant tech. That would make him amazing, but that's pretty much it. So yeah guys, that's going to be the video. I hope you guys enjoyed a deep dive into Omega Red. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this guy. Is going to be insane or what? Are you going to be able to unlock him or not? Do you have those Kree minions ready? Come on, you need to get those Kree minions ready to go. So yeah, that's going to be the video. If you like the information on this video, like always, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and I'll catch you guys later.